Well, we have a great program lined up for you today. We have the one and only Rex Jensen in the house. And we can't wait to hear from him about the exciting things about to take place here on the ranch. We'd like to take a moment to recognize our 2017 annual sponsors. These are companies that truly power our organization. Our presidential sponsors, the Bradenton Herald, Kirkgreen Barbario, Schroeder Manatee Ranch, Lakewood Ranch Communities, Synovus Bank, our executive level sponsors, ABC7, Gallagher MGA, the Herald Tribune, Homes by Town, Home Watch Caregivers of Lakewood Ranch, iHeartMedia, Lakewood Ranch Community Activities, Lakewood Ranch Commercial, Lakewood Ranch Medical Center. You get the theme here, lots of Lakewood ranches. Manatee County, Michael Saunders and Company, Norton Hammersley, The Observer and Business Observer, Willis Smith, South Tech. I'd also like to refer you to both the screen and also your program for our corporate sponsors as well as our associate level sponsors. How about a round of applause? We'd also like to take a moment to recognize some public officials and very special people that are with us here today. And if you'd hold your applause, we'll read them off and do one big round when I'm complete. Commissioner Betsy Benak of Manatee County, Ed Hunsecker, County Administrator, Manatee County, Sharon Hillstrom, President, Bradenton Area EDC, Mark Huey, Sarasota EDC. We've got a whole table here from the East County Fire Rescue District. I hope we pass fire code today. I don't know. It's a pretty full group in here. Sally Dion, who is the District Director for U.S. Representative Vern Buchanan. Have I missed anyone inadvertently that I should be recognizing? Okay, how about a big round of applause for all those people? Good job. I'd also like to thank METV, who is here graciously today, and for those of your colleagues who unfortunately weren't able to make the lunch today. We were sold out and had a pretty significant waiting list. We will let all of the Alliance members know when METV will be broadcasting this lunch. So thank you to METV for being here. So as you all know by now, the mantra here at the Alliance is the power of connection. We like to say that when you attend a luncheon here at the Alliance, you're going to leave with three things. You're going to have a great lunch. You're going to learn something that you didn't walk in the door before, you didn't know about it before you walked in the door. And thirdly, you're going to meet some people that you didn't know when you walked in the door. So we have what's called a membership moment, and it truly is a moment. I'm going to give about 2 minutes for you to quickly go around the table and introduce yourself to those at your table, but I do need to bring you back and rein you back in 2 minutes because we'll keep the program going. So go ahead and go. We've got a program here at the Alliance called Ranch Rewards, and it's a simple program whereby if you are a member of this organization, and it's as simple as you referring a member business to any of us in the staff or on the membership committee, we are happy to reach out to them. Your name gets entered for a $100 gift card every month. So pretty easy way to, score a $100 gift card. This month, we want to thank Joni Rametta with Wealth Planning and Design, and also Felicia Seedorf with Chapman and Associates for being the generous donor of the $100 gift card to one of our members, Tandoor Indian, over in Cooper Creek Plaza. The winner this month was Janet Arena. She's with the Van Wezel. She was not able to be here with us today. However, I'm sure she'll be happy to know she's got $100 in her pocket. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to go on with recognizing the response we got from today was so fantastic that we offered at the luncheon the opportunity to have gold and silver tables, reserve tables. You can see from the screen the companies that participated in that. That's a great way to get your company's name in lights a little bit and also have a reserve table at our luncheon. So be tuned in for more of those. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you a very good friend and a community leader here, Kit Kearney. Can you come to the stage, please? Homes by Town is our luncheon sponsor today, and they have and continue to be just a phenomenal partner of the Alliance, and I'd ask Kit to say a few words. Oh, Kit.
I am Kit Kearney, Vice President and Marketing with Homes by Town. Rex is going to speak today about the state of the ranch, and I'd like to share our involvement in this amazing story. Homes by Town and our family represent the epitome of what the ranch is all about. The Kearneys have lived here for 22 years and built the second home on the ranch at Summerfield Bluffs. We really enjoy all the ranch has to offer, all the amenities, especially being a runner with the great trail system and the races that are always offered. I also work for an employee for Homes by Town, and where offices are located in Lakewood Ranch Corporate Park. So as you can see, we live, work, and play, one of the first taglines of Lakewood Ranch. Homes by Town is so proud to be one of the founding builders and has built hundreds of homes throughout the year. So many satisfied and repeat customers. When you buy from Homes by Town, you become part of our family. And our primary goal is to build a quality home and that you will be happy in from years to come. As the first builder to construct condos on the ranch, we continue to strive to make each experience better than the last. Our current project, Waterfront at Main Street, is nestled on the banks of Lake Eline. You can enjoy sophisticated urban living in our efficiently designed and seamlessly incorporated floor plans that showcase the spectacular views. Within this gated community, you also enjoy many amenities. With a fully equipped fitness center overlooking the lake, resort-style pool and spa, outdoor fire pit, outdoor kitchen, and multi-purpose gathering room that can be easily expanded to include the outside pool area. Just beyond the gates, you get to enjoy are the attractions of our downtown Lakewood Ranch Main Street. The theater, many restaurants, unique shops, and you're also in the heart of Lakewood Ranch. Waterfront is comprised of 76 units in 3 buildings, with homes starting in Building 1 at 1,337 square feet, from the high 300s to Building 2 at 2,600 square feet at the mid-900s. We'll be opening up our models in July and can't wait to show off our exciting new Waterfront at Main Street. And now to the future. We are so excited to be building homes in Lake House Cove at WATERSIDE, south of University in Sarasota County. With large lakes being one of our major themes of the community, our 391 units will comprise different size lots. Homes by Town will be building on the 52 and 65-foot home sites, and Arthur Ruttenberg and Lee Wetherington on the 76s. Our amenities will take advantage of the water taxi accessibility to Town Center and be the heart of our Lakewood Ranch, Lake House Cove project. Homes by Town is so pleased to be the sponsor of today's luncheon, and as someone who has worked, lived, and played here, I just love Lakewood Ranch. We will be giving away a basket today, so if you haven't put your name in, please do, because it will be given at the end of the luncheon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kit, and thank you again, Homes by Town, again, a great partner to the Alliance and to Lakewood Ranch. It gives me great pleasure right now to introduce our current chairman of the board, Miss Lori Ruth, the East County Observer publisher. Lori has jumped right in this year as chairman of the board and has done a phenomenal job. Please help me welcome to the stage Miss Lori Ruth.
I am so thrilled to be standing here looking out at some really great familiar places and some new faces. We have done a phenomenal job of spreading the word of how great this organization is. We have a record number of new members this quarter. And I would like to draw your attention to the screen where we have all of our new members that have signed up since January. And if your name is on the screen, I ask that you please stand up so we could recognize you and welcome you to the family. Last year, our Communications and Technology Committee produced a video. This is a tool that we use for prospecting new members so that it gives them the ins and outs of what's going on with the Alliance. We want to put a special thank you out to Suncoast Professional Photography for producing the video, and at this time we'd like to share it with you.
The Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance is committed to connecting, educating, and strengthening the business community throughout the Lakewood Ranch region. The Alliance's 550 member businesses reflect a wide variety of both small and large businesses across multiple industries throughout the Lakewood Ranch region.
Hello, my name's Heather Caston. I'm the Executive Director here at the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance. Today we're so excited to share with you some impressive reasons why your business might be a great fit to become a part of the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance.
8 years ago, I was introduced to the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance, and unbeknownst to me, I didn't know anything about the organization. I was just told to go to this event and meet people. And it was the beginning of a time of my life where I didn't know a soul in this community. And the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance raised me in such a way that they literally took me by the hand and introduced me to everyone that would come through that door and connect me to these wonderful people.
Whether it's your first event or your 15th event, Heather and the team do a great job to make sure that you always feel welcome and that every person that comes, either as a guest or as a multi-year member, has that same feeling, whether it's their first time or their 100th time.
With over 100 events and programs each year, the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance provides the opportunity to connect with over 2,000 member professionals.
I would say my favorite part of the Alliance is the combination of resources they make available to my team here at the hospital. Whether it's the networking opportunities for that relationship development or the educational programs and the advertising opportunities that allow me to strengthen my brand.
Our educational programs equip professionals like you with the knowledge and tools needed to take your business and career to the next level. Our featured guest speakers present timely and relevant lessons that you can apply to your business right away.
Over 550 member businesses and communicate with close to 2,000 business professionals, all of which want to do business here in the Lakewood Ranch region. As many of you know, the Lakewood Ranch region is not only the fastest growing community in this area, it really is one of the fastest growing regions in the entire nation. Currently, we have 10,000 rooftops here in Lakewood Ranch, and it's projected within the next 5 years that we will double our rooftops to around 20,000 rooftops in Lakewood Ranch.
Among all of the different sources of business in which we gain business for our company, the Business Alliance accounts for over 28% of our business, which is by far the largest lead source we have.
I think the Alliance has helped the hospital grow here in that we are better connected through our involvement at the Alliance.
So to learn more or to actually jump in and become a member of the Alliance, please visit our website at LWRBA.org or call us at 941-757-1664. We really look forward to meeting you. I personally look forward to welcoming you into the Alliance fold and family. I hope to see you soon.
Become a member of the Alliance today and harness the power of our great connections.
That is a great job. The Alliance is proud to work closely with the Lakewood Ranch community. We are especially proud that one of our members, who serves on 2 committees, is always putting his name in the hat as a helper to Heather and the staff at every turn. He's now taken on a larger role in the community. He was actually featured in our video. Keith, can I have you stand up, please? Keith Pandaloglu has been appointed by the Board of Directors of the Lakewood Ranch Community's activities as their new director. He will lead with the creation, planning, and execution of events such as the Extravaganza and the Tribute to Heroes Memorial Parade, all run through Lakewood Ranch community activities. Help me congratulate Keith. Keith, I've got you. By the way, the Memorial Day Parade will be held right here on Main Street on Sunday, May 28th. If you'd like to volunteer or have your company have a float, we would love to have you. Please contact Keith. This special event has brought some special guests. I see the players are here in the house today. I also want to recognize Mr. John Clark and his wife. John started as president of SMR. Yep. He started as president of SMR back in 1988 and then eventually retired as CEO of SMR in 2005. John, along with Mary Fran Carroll, were the original visionaries, imagining this land used for mining and farming that evolved into the Lakewood Ranch community. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am blown away by this enormous crowd. I mean, it's amazing. It's sold out. This is a first for me. I've never been to an Alliance luncheon that was sold out. And I also had another first for me today. As I was walking in, I saw 3 members holding up signs, "Need tickets." It's like a Springsteen concert. I should have had the forethought to have t-shirts made. I can see it now. Picture of Rex, WATERSIDE, 2017 tour. It's a missed opportunity. Today's speaker, Rex Jensen, is a rock star. Let's start with the 3 degrees that Mr. Jensen has earned from Michigan State University, and then follow that up with a Juris Doctor from the University of Michigan in 1979. Okay, normally I would refer to our speakers with respect as Mr., so Mr. Rex Jensen, and certainly this speaker today, he has earned our respect, but we're among friends, right? And we know Mr. Jensen in only one way, a long-time good friend of the Alliance. And because of that, I'll take the liberty of referring to him as Rex. And you all know what Rex means. It's Latin for king. So Rex joined SMR in 2002 as president, and then, as I said, John Clark retired in 2005. He then took over the reins as CEO. His responsibilities include agriculture, aggregate mining, and real estate development on its 30,000-acre land holding in both Manatee and Sarasota counties. What it doesn't say, but should say, is that he's part innovator, visionary, liaison, peacekeeper, risk taker, investigator, advocate. The list goes on. Under Rex's leadership, Lakewood Ranch, a fully integrated master plan community, is ranked the top 10 fastest selling in the United States from 2011 and 2015. Rex is a proactive leader known for setting the entitlement, green building, and financial framework for Lakewood Ranch. As I alluded to before, Rex is a smart man. He knows you need to have strong relationships. Rex has partnered with both public and private sectors, with the school board, with local, regional, and state governments, and he knows that relationships are the key to getting things done, and Rex gets things done. Because of Rex Jensen, Lakewood Ranch is the example other communities aspire to be. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Rex Jensen.
Thank you, Lori. When I was out of my back lanai starting to prepare this speech, I got this email from Ed Hunsaker. And it said, $25 to hear you speak? There's no value in that. So I thought a minute, and then I immediately responded to him, and I said, well, now you know how I feel when I open your tax bills. At any rate, I intend to try to give you a lot of value out of this particular speech because I'm actually going to make some announcements in it that are some of the biggest that I've ever made, and that's saying something. But at any rate, you be the judge of it. So I'm going to begin first to set the stage because some of you have seen this before. Some of you I know are new because you're new employees and you're here. So at least for the new folks, I'm going to go back and give you a higher level overview of SMR and the ranch. In terms of location, we are in Manatee and Sarasota counties. In terms of size, the original property holding was 50 square miles. Now you might say, Rex, what can you put in 50 square miles? Can you help me understand the size of that? And what I just did was play an optical illusion on you by putting the incorporated boundaries of Sarasota, Bradenton, Venice, and Palmetto on this property, and there are several thousand acres left over. That's how big this ranch was when we began. The ownership is the Eline family out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the former founders of Schlitz Brewery. They've owned the property for nearly a century, and because of that longevity of ownership, we view ourselves to be stewards of a very significant property in Southwest Florida. I believe that this ranch is the dominant piece of property in Southwest Florida. It's dominant because of its location, its size, the infrastructure that is already in place and on the way. The ownership of the property is very patient. We've invested a lot of money in planning. Some people might say vision. I would say it's been planning because there's really not much of a boundary between vision and hallucination. I think that boundary basically is whether your hallucination succeeds, then it becomes vision. But we've spent a lot of time planning this property over the years. It predated me with John. I think we are well financed, and the point of it is nobody can do what we do here without having a lot of patience. Now, I personally don't have any, but there are a lot of people in SMR who do. And the ownership of the company certainly is patient, and it's because of that patient ownership that we are able to give you the kind of quality lifestyle that residents of Lakewood Ranch deserve. Location is a big thing in real estate. It's the fundamental thing, and this is the drive radius of 5 minutes through 1 hour in terms of where you can get to from this particular property. You can see that being located on I-75, which I would submit to you is the main street of the area, not US 41, not 301, it's I-75 that is the main street. You really have, we were at the epicenter of everything that's going to happen in Sarasota and Manatee County. So Lakewood Ranch today is over 12,000 households, over 30,000 residents, if you pick 2.52 per household, 4 million square feet of non-residential construction. Now you might say, well, what's that? And I'd tell you that 2.5 million square feet of it is office. If you want to know what that means, look at downtown Sarasota. Downtown Sarasota has 2.5 million square feet. Since there's been dirt, 2.5 million square feet of office in downtown Sarasota. Since 1997, 2.5 million square feet of office here. We have over nearly 14,000 what I call value-added jobs. They're jobs that largely are in air-conditioned space. Here in the corporate park and our town center and in a few other business parks scattered throughout the property. We have our own hospital. We have shopping opportunities which have begun to pop up. We have more on the way very shortly. We have numerous churches. You can't have a community without churches, without schools, without a social fabric. You could join 85 clubs in Lakewood Ranch, plus or minus, on the first day that you have your home in Lakewood Ranch. All of us, wherever we have been, we had social ties, we had friends, we had clubs, and it's good to have a community without those kinds of things. To me, is not a community, it's a project. It's this social fabric that creates that third dimension and takes a square and turns it into a cube, and it's got so much more going for it. Our biggest problem is to figure out things like, where do you put the car wash? Because 30,000 people need things that you necessarily wouldn't want to live next to. So again, it's a bit of a challenge to fit it all together, and we do the best we can with it. I want to talk for a moment about what is SMR, the company behind what you'd think of as Lakewood Ranch. We began as a timber plantation back in the early 1900s, and then branched out into cattle after the timbering operation was completed, and then into row crops, turf production, trees, citrus. We got into mining, shell mining, and interestingly enough, back in the peak of the mining activity, which was in about 2004 to 2005, the USGS named us as the 5th most largest shell mine in the United States based upon the tonnage mined. So it was a very active operation. We are largely through mining now and are beginning to wind that operation up as we speak. We are in strange businesses, recreational businesses like a polo. We have 3 golf courses, a tennis complex, an athletic center. We dabble in residential development, and the same thing on the commercial side. We also are engaged, even though we don't own the hospital, operate the hospital, or have anything to do with the hospital. One of the things that we've always been about is bringing these kinds of uses that spell community into our community. And sometimes it takes 10 years, like it did, to be able to pull this off. The same thing was with Main Street. It took 10 years to do it. And I think maybe 5 different ribbon cuttings. So, but we kept at it, and it's here today. We also own some interest in office buildings in the corporate park and town center. And the same people that were involved in the ownership and management of the property back in the early 1900s were here 30 years ago. They were here 15 years ago, and mostly here today. So there's been very good continuity of management. Now you might ask, well then Rex, what's SMR all about? And I would say that SMR, even though it is in agriculture, is not a farmer, it's not a miner, it's not in real estate development. What is it? It's asset management. We have a very unique, valuable asset here, and it requires careful management. So we farm because it's the right thing to do with certain properties at the right time. We mine because that was the right thing to do with certain areas at that time. We are in the real estate development business because it is the right thing to do with certain properties as the market begins to call for it. So let's go back down memory lane a bit, and I'll get to where we are today and then jump into talking about what's next. See that yellow boundary here on the map is the original ranch boundaries. In the beginning, there was no market for the land out here, but there was a market for the products that the land would produce, ergo the timber, the cattle, the other agricultural products, and eventually the shell that was under the property. With the advent of I-75, that began to change, and it took decades for that change to actually take shape as I-75 was completed in the mid-80s. And the family began to think about what is it wanted to do with this property, what should it be when it grew up. Back in those days, nobody else believed in it. And this company took the bull by the horns and began developing the community of Lakewood Ranch. We allied ourselves with good local builders, Homes by Town, Neal Communities, Lee Wetherington, John Cannon, among others, and developed lots and sold to these builders who in turn sold homes to the general public, and that was the business model in those days. We began our real estate development with the Sarasota Polo Club, of all things. Got through the platting of it, and in those days, Sarasota County, hopefully nobody from there is here today, did not have regulations that prevented us from platting anything more than 5-acre lots. So we did that, and once we got through the process, they changed the regulations. But at any rate, that was our first foray into development. We then began with Summerfield, which was basically for young families, and then added the country club, Edgewater, the two corporate parks, and then we began to add neighborhoods at a time as we ran out of different kinds of product types. We finally got way extended with the Country Club East and Lake Club and Central Park, and then the downturn hit. And we felt like the Maytag repairman after that, or during those years. The phone wouldn't ring and you wondered what was going to happen the next day. So those were rough times, but we didn't give up, and we thought, let's, while we can't do anything else, let's add some features to the community that will bring people in. One of those things was the premier sports campus, which I'm highlighting here. Antonio, we're scheduled to bring in 200,000 people this year. Now that's activity. These are people who aren't residents, who will become exposed to this community, and I think because of the quality of this community, and I don't mean just Lakewood Ranch, I mean the Sarasota-Manatee County area in general, they're going to go away with favorable impressions, and a good share of those people in some years from now will be back. And I think that they will become residents over the course of time. So the PSC is a very valuable asset for the community. But then the downturn ended and the pace quickened. We began selling larger pieces of property, and you can see that this map is beginning to be eaten up. Now, what I'm about to announce is even more of the same, in the sense of, if you look carefully at the northeastern part of our map, you see how it's currently not colored in. We have 4 contracts right now for the purchase of these parcels, and I'm working on a 5th. So you can see that much of the ranch very shortly will be spoken for. That doesn't mean it's developed tomorrow morning at dawn, but it will be, that's one of John's phrases, but it will be spoken for. It will be put on a track toward a certain conclusion, probably within a 10 to 15 year period of time. And I'll get more into that in just a minute. We also are beginning the development of a community called WATERSIDE, which frankly, had been certainly on our minds since the 1990s. And finally, the mining activity is concluded, the roads and utilities are almost in place, and it's going to be a very sensational project. And we also have roads, roads, roads. I'm going to show you a slide which will show you 28 miles of roads that we will have under construction within the next 4 years' time. And to do all of this, you have to do it with partnerships. We've had to have partnerships on schools, partnerships on water, because these tasks of providing all the services that a community like this needs are bigger than any one particular actor. It's too big for government, it's too big for the private sector. So we've done a lot of Lakewood Ranch on the backs of public-private partnerships. And I'll talk about those later. Actually, I'll talk about those now. We have kind of what I would call a two-faced or two-sided relationship with government. There is a good side and a not-so-good side. Well, let's start with the good first, because I'm basically an optimistic, Pollyannish sort of person. On the good side, we've put over $4 billion with a B on the Manatee County tax rolls between the houses and the offices and other buildings. We have paid more impact fees than anyone for parks, for roads, for law enforcement and EMS, and for fire. We have paid for our own infrastructure, and if I hear one more time from someone who doesn't live here that I want sidewalks like Lakewood Ranch has, my attitude is, then dig into your pocket, friend, and pay for it like we did. The county didn't build these for us, we built them. So we've paid for our own infrastructure, and I'm very proud of that. We also helped the county and the school board. The school board we helped twice with the sales tax, and the county once for the only time that it's ever put one in place. And I think you can thank Mr. Hunsaker for the fact that the county is thinking ahead. See, I'm even-handed, Ed. But over the years, starting with John, and I've tried to carry it forward, is water is a very important thing. You know, yes, they don't make any more of it, but that's been true for 4 billion years. The point of it is we just have don't have a supply issue as much as a management issue, and management, again, is one of those things that it takes, I hate the phrase, but I'm going to use it, it takes a village. It takes a lot of actors to pull that off, because you cross jurisdictional boundaries, you have a lot of capital investment to be able to mobilize this scarce resource. But we have a number of projects over the years that we've done for water, to again maximize the use of that resource. We helped FDOT. State Road 70 is 6-lane because of SMR. State Road 64 is 4-laned because of SMR. Prior to this diverging diamond, it's because of SMR that interchange was improved to the degree that it was. So again, we've worked with the Department of Transportation on many projects behind the scenes, quietly, and we've got a couple more that we'll be doing with them shortly. And we have a long-standing partnership with the Manatee County School Board for building schools, and we intend to continue that as well. There's also a bad side. I can recall, after spending about $1 million on a development of regional impact called Lakewood Center, at the podium on the day of requesting an approval of the project, certain county commissioners at that time basically demanded that in addition to everything else, we donate some land for a library. Okay, well, what do you do when you're in that kind of a position? You're basically, I'm not going to use the word extorted, but I didn't use it, I'm disclaiming it. But I don't know what else to call it either. At any rate, that was years ago. Do you see a library out there today? No. We were also ordered, for those of you who love Hidden River Trail and would love to put a bicycle on it, we were ordered to build that $6 million monument to nothing by that same county commission, most of whom, thank God, are not there anymore. 3 times, Manatee County, through another commissioner who is also not there, tried to take down the gates at our country club. I don't call that very friendly. Now I hear that the county is considering using our impact fees for parks to pay for recreational facilities in jurisdictions that don't charge impact fees. Now, does anybody want to stand up and champion that cause? I think that this alliance ought to mobilize against that one when it begins to see the light of day. I also know for a fact that there have been discussions between county staff and school board staff. Now, I'm sure the commissioners and the administrator don't know that this is the case, but I do. Where the park that is at McNeil Elementary School and Nolan Middle School, they tried to get the school board to take that off their hands because it's too much trouble. Well, you know what? My attitude is, if we are obligated to build parks because of the county standards, and we do build that park, we fund that park, and we give that park to the county, then that's what it ought to be and that's what it ought to stay. And if it's too much trouble, tough crap. Speaking of which, this is the kind of relationship with the county that I don't want to have. I prefer this. So we'll talk about how can we get back to the Cupid as opposed to the outhouse type of thing. So at any rate, now I want to dwell into some of the new stuff that's happening. I want to talk about the Northeast sector because I think that provides a great laboratory for future public-private partnerships between us, the school board, the county, and others. And here it is. We have 4 contracts signed and 1 in negotiation on these parcels here. Just because it's under contract, don't worry. The unwashed Mongolian hordes are not going to flow across the border. This is not developed yet just because I painted it a different color on the map, and each parcel will probably take from 7 to maybe 12 years or thereabouts to really come to fruition, and that's a best case thing. That presumes no downturns or anything else. So it's not the death of anything, but it is an opportunity for a lot. I think it prevents the opportunity for a series of public-private partnerships, for road and utility improvements, a school site swap. Back in the dark ages, the Manatee County School Board acquired this parcel up here for a future high school site. We have discussions going with them with the idea that they would give us this property back and we would give them a piece of property down more toward the center of the universe, and also a K through 8 site, which is a different kind of thing than has ever been done in the Manatee County school system than ever before, on this property. We also are thinking about the idea of if we're going to co-locate a high school somewhere down here, that there ought to be a lot of good synergy between that school and the PSC. So again, because the school, and I'll show you in a second, will build the kind of facilities that we don't want to build for the PSC, and there may be some cross-usage agreements or something like that that we could do. We also think that we've got a site or 2 that we could use for workforce housing. One of the things that we began with was homes. When we first started, our first homes were $89,000. We lost that as the marketplace became hotter and hotter, and we're trying to get back maybe not to 89,000. I don't want to have guys like Pat Neal drop their jaws on the floor. So Pat, that was back, like 20-year ago numbers. I don't know what today's value for that would be, but the point of it is we're all trying to work together to create some form of niche for those young families again. And we think that this might be a site that we could think about doing that. We have had discussions with the Manatee County School Board for a high school site, as I said, located here. Once the school board took a look at the sites up here, they came back to us with this. So this is their work, not ours. And I think it makes a great deal of sense because what we've never done is to invest in things like softball fields, baseball fields, football fields, track, that kind of thing. And they're not used 100% of the day by the school. So again, one of the things we're going to talk about in these agreements is just some softer things rather than just hard, here's the land, here's what we're each going to do. We're going to talk about relationships and see what we can build into the documentation in programmatic terms. So at any rate, while I've shown you a shocking thing of the ranch gradually disappearing, so to speak, when you look at what color is what, it is a great opportunity. It is our last chance to seriously ask and answer the questions of what will we need for roads, schools, parks, libraries, workforce housing, fire protection, all these things that a community needs. The only way to pull them off will be to seek partnerships with the county and the school board and other entities. I will have to enter into this, and to put these elements in place early, not after the fact, but basically what we're coming up with is a plan to do much of this before any of the impacts actually hit the ground. And I think that's very important, because we're all used to the idea of roads not getting done until 8 years after they're needed, schools not getting built until 10 years after they're needed. We've got to do better, and I think together we can. We also want to harness our impact fees and put them to work out here. What is an impact fee? An impact fee means there's an impact in a certain area that we're getting a fee for. It doesn't mean the impact is in this area, let's take the money over here. No. It means spend it where the impact has occurred. End of sermon. At least for today. Now I want to talk about Sarasota County. I showed you a cartoon of WATERSIDE. And WATERSIDE began with our mining activity. And all of these large lakes down here are former shell mines. Now, if you want to look out the window and know what does a former shell mine look like when it changes form from a shell mine into something else, Lake Eline was a former shell mine. You are on Lake Eline. So walk out the door after this and go look at it, and you'll see the kind of thing that we're thinking about with respect to WATERSIDE. These are significant lakes. This lake is 1 mile long and a half-mile wide. It's a lake that a Yankee like me would call a lake. Instead of the stormwater ponds that we foist off on you, the unsuspecting public, as waterfront property, that is a real lake. Now, the thing about WATERSIDE is that it needs a lot of road improvements. And we are in the throes of building 9 miles worth of roads, most of which will be completed by July or August of this year. One of which, here, Lakewood Ranch Boulevard, to the south, down to Fruitville Road, will not be. Why, you may ask? Well, it's a difference between foresight and for something else. I can't think of a good word to go, so I won't say it. At any rate, years ago, John Clark had the foresight to purchase a 160-foot wide swath of property out in the middle of nowhere on the Lorraine Road alignment, so that we could be assured of being able to build a road someday if we needed to build it. Here, the opportunity was not there to do that on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard. On the other hand, for the last 2 years, I've had a contract with Sarasota County which puts squarely on their shoulders the obligation to buy, acquire, whatever, that right-of-way so that we could build that road. 10 months ago, I was called into a meeting saying, we don't have that money in our budget this year. which again, the immediate mental response is, well, you've had a contract for all this time to do it and you don't put it in the budget. But be that as it may, it is what it is. So we rolled up our sleeves together, the county and SMR, and we went talking to the 5 major property owners that own land up and down this alignment of what would it take to get you, the landowner, to donate that right-of-way to Sarasota County instead of waiting for a cash payment, instead of holding your breath and digging in your heels and dragging them through the obligation to condemn the property, which could be a long time and a lot of money. Probably $5 million in cash and probably 2 years at best if you go through condemnation. All of them sat down at the table and they each wanted different things. And I'm just going to click a series of slides just to show you that they each had their own individual things. And it was varied. I mean, from help me with a temporary parking lot to give me a connection to utilities to put in a turn lane, stand on your head, spit quarters, whatever it may be. The point of it is we sat down and each property owner signed an agreement with us and Sarasota County that in exchange for these few things and mobility fee credits, meaning funny money, that unless they develop, they never get. I mean, these landowners are giving up a lot and they're doing it to be good citizens. And the point of it is, in a month or so, I think we'll have this all worked out. But do you guys, I don't know if you study Greek mythology or not, remember a guy named Sisyphus? He was condemned, I forget what he did wrong, committed some kind of sin. He was condemned forever to roll a rock uphill, and when he got it up to the top, it always would roll back down. That's how I feel. Because we just got a letter out of the DOT, once we worked it out with all of the individual landowners, that they have some demands of Sarasota County that Sarasota County doesn't feel like it can meet. So we're all going to go up together, some landowners here, us, Sarasota County. We're going to meet with DOT in Bartow next week to see if we can deal with that. And if so, and the rock doesn't roll downhill again, we'll get this started for you. That's the long and the short of where's Luncheon going. Here's an interesting one. And it's a good idea. And basically its genesis was years ago, a commissioner in Sarasota, Paul Mercier, came up with this idea of, you know, there ought to be a flyover over I-75, not an interchange, at your southern border, Rex. And at the time I thought, I don't want to get involved in that, and kind of, you know, poo-pooed the idea. But the more time that passed, the more that man's idea began to resonate and make sense. So we've incorporated it into our WATERSIDE plan, and if you want to see where it's going to be, drive I-75 to the south, you get to the water tower, that flyover will be just to the north of that water tower. But the point of it is that will materially enhance the connectivity on both sides of the interstate without forcing people to drive through those congested interchanges. I think it's a great idea, and we are in the throes of designing and permitting that right now. And here's what that would look like. This is the flyover. What we do is go over I-75 and raise Cattleman up to meet it in a T intersection. And there's another view of the same thing. So it's probably, Roger, 60% plans, 50% plans-ish? All right, 60% plans. So it's in the works. We have market interest. Thanks to Kit's company and to Pulte, we have contracts for the 800 lots in WATERSIDE. We also have 2 contracts for apartments with Davis Development, the same people who did the apartments across the street from Main Street here. Kirk is also negotiating a couple of more contracts that we'll announce later on as soon as we really have them. But the point of it is there is a lot of market interest in WATERSIDE. We've kind of turned off the spigot on that because I really wanted to get market interest roads built, and then the rest of it we talk about from more of a position of strength rather than we need you to help us make a project. So that's why you're not hearing a lot more. It's not that there isn't interest, we're just trying not to cut deals until we're stronger and more ready. Now, talking about what's going to happen in the short term with WATERSIDE and the schedule. We've already had our groundbreaking, and I vow to you I'm not going to have any more groundbreakings on WATERSIDE in general because the ground's been broken. We're not going to do 5 ribbon cuttings like we did here. 1. We'll do different ribbon cuttings for different things, but not the same one 5 times over. We probably will have another ribbon cutting, but this is for models and sneak previews of what's coming in terms of the homes in WATERSIDE. In June to September, I mean, Pulte has already gone vertical on the models. Some of them are under roof actually right now. Homes by Town, Arthur Ruttenberg, Lee Wetherington will also break ground on models in this June to September timeframe. And we hope to have models open for the selling season. And then in the first quarter, we will be doing WATERSIDE Place, we hope, a groundbreaking there, and hopefully only one of them as well, although those are tougher projects and maybe 2 or 3 for that. But WATERSIDE Place is going to be analogous to Main Street here, down there. And I'll get into that right now. The bigger context is that if you look at Main Street, the value of this place is stamped on every house we have sold to date in Lakewood Ranch. It's hugely important for value, for community lifestyle. Laura keeps lecturing me, Rex, all you have to sell is lifestyle, and I think we need to bring that on early in WATERSIDE Place, and I believe that she's right. I believe it's true. So we are setting early next year as the tentative groundbreaking date for WATERSIDE Place. And again, I think you'll find the value of WATERSIDE Place stamped on every one of the 5,000 homes that we plan to do down there. Here's what it looks like today. A site that you can actually see downtown Sarasota, assuming you get up 60 to 90 feet high. You can see I-75 and where the overpass is. It's next to an 8-acre island park. So if you can imagine an 8-acre island that's a park next to a main street, I think that's a sensational combination of amenities. Main Street or WATERSIDE Place will be on a 36-acre peninsula on the lake that I showed you earlier, the mile-long, half-mile-wide real lake. And the lakes are 30 feet deep because of the shell mining operation. This is one quick perspective sketch. Here's another. Kirk showed me that he's got a much nicer one that he thought he wouldn't share with me yet, which would have been in here if it weren't for him, so give him a round of applause. See, you didn't get much applause over that. At any rate, WATERSIDE Place is going to have 4 main focal points. 1, the waterfront. Duh. 2, the Performing Arts Center. Michelle Pingle and Jeffrey Kinn, you're out there. Can you stand up? They and their board of directors have really shown, I think, vision. I'm going to skip the hallucination stuff. By saying Lakewood Ranch is the kind of community that we want to become a part of and play a key role in. And we're very thankful for that. And again, those are 2 people that you might want to contact if you want to somehow get involved in their organization and get them established here. They have been around for 85 years, 86 years? 88 years. Now, this is an arts group around for 88 years. That talks about a well-run organization, a stable organization an organization that frankly is an icon of the arts in an area that's known for the arts. This 8-acre island park is another focal point. And then we also have a farmer's market section as well. We will be building a couple of roads to access the site. Oops, a little too eager. We have a former board member, Jack Olson, who passed away a while back, but we are going to be naming a nature center in his honor, and also beginning that coterminously with the groundbreaking of the Waterside Place project. CJ and Jim, I've got lots of announcements that you're being able to hear. The architectural theme, sort of a Dutch West Indies, right, Richard?
Correct.
And again, I don't think it's all white. It's going to have lots of color in it, yes?
Correct.
All right. But this is the kind of thing that you're going to see on the streetscape. So bear that in mind when you look at this. There are a number of, Waterside Place is going to be a real mixed-use community. In blue, the ground floor are going to be a mix of office and retail space like you'd see here in Main Street. We also have 4 separate build-to-suit restaurant pads, 2 of which have already been spoken for. The orange buildings, when I paint them, are going to be residential apartments, rental. And green is we're building the ground floor so that it can flex between, it'll begin with residential, and if the market develops, the rates, the rental rates and how to say it, the velocity of the market actually improves and justifies our making a conversion, we'll be able to convert that ground floor from rental apartments into non-residential, but we won't have to. We have other buildings that would represent a food incubator facility, and we have a farmer's market. We have some buildings that we may or may not build initially, if at all, that are residential in nature. These are intended to be for sale buildings, but I think we'll probably hold those back. And we have the Performing Arts Center, which, if you look at what they do today, 300 performances plus a year. And to have that kind of vibrancy out on a community like a Main Street, it would just, I think, make an incredible destination. And so we're very thankful that they have agreed to roll the dice with us and join us. I'm going to flash this up. This came from you, so I'm hoping I'm not overstepping my boundaries. I won't make any promises or anything else. But they have a very nice program here that can be phased if that makes sense. And again, you seek them out if you'd like information about what they're doing. And that way I'm not going to paint them into a corner. But the point of it is they are right along with us, and I think if they could get their funding together, they could be breaking ground with us in about the same time. We're not just all about roads down there. One of the things we may do, we're certainly thinking about it very seriously, is linking the various, what I would call sub-areas around these lakes with water taxis. Again, roads are one thing, but we think we could create a very special place here. We can't get from lake to lake because there's a great separation of height from one to the other. And if you break the dike up here, surf's up downstream. So we have that to overcome, but I think we can do it. What else? Oh yeah, the road improvement program that I was talking about. 28 miles of roads, beginning in Sarasota County, but also in the eastern part of our ranch, in the Lake Club area, Country Club East, Pulte area. We also have some things going up in the northeast quadrant and more on the way. While we have to wrestle with things like the Rye Road roundabout, for those of you who've heard that one, that's not us. That's DOT is very serious about doing a roundabout on State Road 64. But we will be doing 28 miles of roads, 9 of them in Sarasota County, 19 in Manatee County. They're going to be done in the next few years. I'm not going to give you an exact time frame, but I think if we have a successful partnership with Manatee County, it will be very, very quickly. And the better part of it is they'll be done before most development occurs. And development occurs pretty quickly. Just to give you an idea, last year, we sold 778 homes. Now, quick mental math quiz. If there's a bright young man right there, at 2.52 homes times 778, how many people is that? 1,960.56. So if we don't get ahead of this, I mean, that's what happened last year. That's not counting what's happening this year, and our sales pace, Laura, is ahead of that, yes? So the point of it is we have to plan now, even though it's not going to develop tomorrow immediately, all at once. We have to plan for it today, because once it starts happening, it just has a way of, if we're not ahead of it, getting ahead of us. What else is happening? A lot of things. I'm running short of time, so I'm not going to tell you about it this time. Hopefully some other day you'll want to invite me back. But you know the people who are doing Lake Nona, Tavistock. We believe that next month or the month thereafter, they'll close on a very significant mixed-use project with us up at Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and State Road 70. We believe that we will have 3 more Publix stores in Lakewood Ranch sometime over the next 2-3 years, and maybe a 4th additional Publix, say 5-6 years out. So we will have a lot of your favorite grocer out here. Another one that's a big one, Herod Properties is building over time 500,000 square feet of multi-tenant light industrial buildings, something that we've never had out here, and there's a crying need for small businesses to be able to walk in to a ready-made building. And our company is not necessarily vertical building people, and it's great to have somebody with that kind of economic clout come in here and take the lead for that key, I think, economic development centric type of use. So those are some of the things. Another thing is marketing initiatives. To have all of this stuff happening, you have to be doing something on the marketing side. And one of the things is we're launching into a joint effort with the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance to do things like enhance the visibility of Lakewood Ranch as a regional job center. Now, I didn't say create a regional job center. That's done. I don't know what you call 4 million square feet of non-residential space if that's not a job center. But I think we do not do as well as we could on really getting the visibility of that out there and what it really means to not only businesses who are here today, but those who may want to join us. So we're looking at key components of this very active business center and identifying those segments that will provide opportunity for further recruitment. We also, as you can see from this organization is very good at growing existing businesses. It's helped a lot of you, it's helped us through networking and sharing of best practices, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, and improving the job housing balance within Lakewood Ranch. This is key, because if you stand at the I-75 interchange at 5 o'clock at night and look at who's leaving Lakewood Ranch, I told you we had about 14,000 on-site jobs. I'll bet you $100 to your next glass of water, the whole room, that maybe 3,000 of that 14,000 actually live in the ranch. We can do better, I think, by, again, trying to broaden the product that we have to offer. So again, we're going about that in a rather serious way. We've developed some new marketing materials. They're on the table. But at any rate, we're trying to share the statistics, which are very unique in Lakewood Ranch. The number of villages, the diversity of housing. We're now the 4th best-selling community in the United States. I didn't say Florida, I said the United States. Over 12,000 households, 30,000 plus people living here. Average age, 45, younger than the area in general by a little bit. Affluent, $117,000 average household income. So if you're a business that's interested in reaching people who can buy your stuff, this is a place you ought to be thinking about. 80% of our residents are college educated. That is unheard of. And again, it speaks volumes about the job that's been done here. We're also, you know, some of you have businesses that you've called Lakewood Ranch this, that, or the other thing, and you aren't even in Lakewood Ranch. We've looked the other way, but now we're going to turn the tables on you. Because if I count all of you who think you're in Lakewood Ranch, who say you are in Lakewood Ranch, there are 1,349 businesses in Lakewood Ranch. That again is a very significant body of entrepreneurship, commerce, economic activity, and we're proud to have it in or outside our community. But again, we're going to be using these tools as recruitment tools for the Business Alliance and for our commercial business recruitment activities. And give you something to share, by the way. You can help us do this. We have folks in the room on the non-residential side, Kirk Boylston and Amanda Zipperer. If you guys would stand up. Dial 1-800-KIRK and Amanda if you have if you know of somebody who's interested in relocating to this area or you think they should, we'll go talk to them. We also have Sonia Powell. You're here someplace. Yes. Can you stand up? She is the administrator of our information center. And again, we have 3 information centers, University Parkway, the Lake Club, and then one north of State Road 70 on Rangeland. And we want to make these tools available for you because quite often you folks are seeing people, you're trying to recruit people to the area. Let us help you sell your company in this community to them. And call our ambassadors and say, hey, I'm bringing a key recruiting prospect in. Can you help me help them understand the community? We'd be happy to do that. We have, I think, the finest country club in the 2-county area, and frankly, further afield than that. And again, this brochure, in my opinion, doesn't do all that we have to offer justice, but the point of it is we have more facilities, better facilities, at lower dues costs than any of our competition. And if you are interested in club memberships, either at the corporate level or even a social membership for entertainment purposes, I'd like you to dial 1-800-AMANDA-FELICO. Stand up, please. She and Maureen Latessa, there, are our marketing team for the Lakewood Ranch Golf and Country Club, and they'd be able to help you out quite easily. Again, Sonia will work with your companies, your HR department. We are working on an incentive program to, if one of your employees buys a new home in Lakewood Ranch, we give a $1,000 incentive to help cover the moving costs or other expenses of that move. So again, we're trying to reach out to you, and if you're interested in recruiting to the area, getting your people to live next to where you are, let's have a partnership and let's try and work on that together. There is no such thing as a community without a spirit of giving, and again, it's good that John is here because this is John Clark's idea of why don't we start a Lakewood Ranch Community Fund to encourage the spirit of philanthropy and again, have that be a real cornerstone of the community. And it was founded in 2000 and currently has $1.2 million in the account, but that's selling it short because over these years it's granted more than $1 million in various grants to local charities. The idea was never to amass a huge amount and let it sit in Northern Trust or Dom's Bank at what, 0.03% interest or whatever you guys pay now. I hope it doesn't break you. But the point of it is we want that money to be raised, put out in the community almost coterminously with it being raised, and the Lakewood Ranch Community Fund does a great, marvelous job of putting that money to work rather than sitting on it. They are run by an advisory board of people who have some significant stake in this community. I don't know if Chris Romine is here. There he is. And Susie, are you here anywhere in the room? Back there. Those two folks, 1-800-CHRIS and Susie, if you want to talk about getting involved in this really worthwhile organization, you can also get information at LWRFund.org. But the point of it is this is an important aspect of the community as well. I think that begins the end of my presentation. I'm happy to talk with you after this. I'm not going to take a formal Q&A today because I think we've probably gone over time, Lori. So I'm going to cut it off, but I'll hang around if you all want to chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rex, for that really informative update. I want to now introduce our incoming chair for the Alliance, Mr. Kim French. We're going to get you out of here in 3 minutes. He's got a couple of quick giveaways and a couple of announcements.
Thanks, Heather. Good afternoon, friends. Excuse me. Rex, that was a great presentation and some great news. I don't think there's anybody in this room today that probably doesn't agree that we live, work, and play in probably one of the greatest places in the U.S. That you can have. And I feel very grateful to be here.
Thank you guys for coming today. Have a great day, and we'll see you at the next Alliance event.